see how she goes. Love the sound. Our full-blown acceleration here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a driving comparison between a 2021 Nissan Titan Pro-4X and a 2021 Ram 1500 Rebel. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with the Rebel. Check out their inventory link below. Let's get straight into the video. Let's talk about visibility here on the Rebel before we set off. So visibility over the hood looks cool because of all the venting, but it definitely does get in the way just slightly. And speaking of the windshield, let's kind of clean that up a little bit. There's visibility through the trailer mirrors, which is fantastic. They're massive. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear, which, I mean, every single half-ton truck, I've said this in other reviews, like has the same rearward visibility pretty much. And that all being said, well, let's set off. Setting off here in the 2021 Ram Rebel. I feel like I've driven a bunch of Rebels for comparisons lately, so it's been kind of crazy. But setting off in this truck, it definitely has this nice luxury truck feel to it. Of course, DJ's waving at me there in his car. But yeah, I mean, it definitely has this like nice luxury truck feel to it. There's very little noise happening outside of the cabin. The ride quality is very smooth. The steering's really light. There is good directness to the steering rack, but it's definitely extremely light from a steering perspective. And again, if you want kind of more of like a luxury car feel, that's what the Rebel gives you. The seats are really comfortable with this Rebel 12 package. The bolsters hold you nicely in place, and just the cushioning on the seats I think is really good. Getting up and kind of going here, the truck itself, it's really nice. Again, it's nice and quiet with the ride quality. And the one thing that I do notice about the Rebel is it's pretty minimal in the tire noise. Most of these off-road trucks, you hear quite a bit of tire noise. With the Rebel, it's pretty minimal. The one thing though with the sound mitigation in this truck is you don't hear a ton of engine noise. It's actually relatively quiet. But when you do get noise, the 5.7 Hemi does sound really good. In terms of the handling, I mean, it feels like a pickup truck. It turns in nicely. Handling's actually pretty good. I just drove a Trail Boss today, and this definitely has better turn-in than the Trail Boss. The Trail Boss kind of floated along a little bit more, whereas this definitely, again, feels a little bit more direct, but the body roll seems to be a lot less substantial compared to the Trail Boss. And of course, in normal Ben Hardy review fashion, run into a ton of traffic. You guys probably noticed the truck is shut off. Again, it does have auto stop start, and I've got it on, so the truck is off to save on a little bit of gas right now, which is another nice little feature of the Rebel. Man, changing lanes in the middle of an intersection, smart person. But let's get up and start going here. Yeah, good torque from the 5.7 Hemi. It sounds so nice, and the 8-speed automatic is really good at shifting, really smooth as well. But let's get our full-blown acceleration, and good thing we got a green light so we don't have to sit here and wait. Yeah, turn-in's really nice with the truck, but let's see how she goes. Love the sound. Yeah, I mean, the power is good. You guys heard the power figures. With the Rebel, acceleration's nice, it's smooth. It doesn't kick you in the back of your seat or anything like that, but it's smooth and it's effortless and it sounds good, and yeah, it's more than enough. And again, this is the 5.7 Hemi with the e-torque. And once you're up at higher speeds, the truck still rides so smooth. The one thing I will mention is the front end of the truck. It's pretty predictable with the Rebel, and it definitely has a lightness to it with the front end. Some of these trucks that I'll drive, they definitely feel kind of heavier in the front end. This has a lighter feel to the front end, and again, it helps with the turn-in. And let's get into setting things up with the Rebel. So first off, getting blinded by the sun. The exterior, I think Ram nailed the styling. I think the Rebel's a really good looking truck from the exterior. Definitely differentiates itself from the other Rams. And then in terms of the shocks and all that, they're great at absorbing stuff. You guys can see kind of going up this. I mean, nothing really upsets the truck, which is nice. And then the tires are great for off-roading. You don't hear a whole lot of tire noise, which is nice with the Rebel. Interior is beautiful, nice materials. All the touch points are nice, like the radio controls, all that. Everything feels and looks really nice. So the Rebel kind of gives you this modern luxury truck feel. That is where the Rebel really sits. The one thing I would add to this particular truck is this one doesn't have the 360 camera system. That would be nice. You guys can see it's not like it's still really good resolution and all that. And parking this truck isn't extremely difficult by any means. The backup camera is more than sufficient from a parking perspective. But I mean, it would be nice to have a 360 camera system. But you guys can see here, I mean, I can easily back into this parking space in one take with the Rebel. I'm a little bit close to that truck, but I mean, you can pretty much do it in one take from a parking perspective. But yeah, that is the 2021 Ram Rebel. Let's go drive the Pro-4X. Well, let's talk about visibility here in the Pro-4X before we set off. So visibility over the hood's a little bit better because you don't have all the crazy cool venting that the Rebel has. There's your visibility through both the mirrors. They do have blind spot monitoring. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear. The bar in the back does get in the way slightly, but it's really not bad at all. And let's set off. Well, setting off here in the Pro-4X, and these trucks are like at opposite ends of the spectrum. The Rebel is kind of like your modern luxury truck type deal, whereas this is kind of like your more old school analog truck. And it's so interesting driving these trucks back to back to feel the differences with them. So the first thing you notice is you do hear more road noise in this truck. You do hear kind of just more noise in general. But again, that kind of feeds to the older analog experience with the Titan, which I know some people just like that. I'm one of those people that I like both for different reasons, actually, which is kind of funny. I'm not partial to one over the other. The other thing is with the steering and the brakes on the Pro-4X. So there's definitely a different feel with the brakes. Again, kind of feels a little bit more old school, and the steering is heavier. You get more feedback through the steering. Again, for a truck, it just has a more old school feel in general. The Rebel has, again, modern luxury feel, whereas this, the turn-in is actually a little bit better, but the steering is more weighted, and you can feel what's happening with the front end. It's just a different driving experience with the Pro-4X. And you guys can see, I mean, it's easy to maneuver. This will be a partial acceleration. Gosh, they both sound so good. They're both really good sounding trucks. They do sound different though. The 5.7 Hemi has that kind of signature Hemi sound, whereas this kind of, it sounds like a sporty muscle car is the best way for me to describe it. But let's get our full-blown acceleration here. Now, can I perceive a difference? No. They feel the same from an acceleration standpoint. The power figures are the same. It's just, I really can't perceive a difference. They feel about the same from an acceleration standpoint. And then once you're up and moving, this is just as smooth as the Rebel. Now, when you do go over bumps, the Rebel does absorb it a little bit nicer, but just on regular roads, this is just as smooth from a ride quality perspective. The biggest difference with the trucks really is not in the ride quality, rather it's in, again, the steering feel, the brake feel, all that kind of stuff. Both the transmissions in the trucks are both modern transmissions. 9-speed in the Titan, 8-speed in the Ram. They're both really good. They're both smooth with the gear transitions, and both similar to like Ford's and Chevy's 10-speeds. So yeah, transmission-wise, it has a nice modern transmission. Now, where do these trucks stand against each other? It's kind of interesting. So again, and we'll pop over so we can kind of look at the Rebel here while we're finishing this up. From the exterior, I feel like they're both really good looking trucks for different reasons. They both have cool off-roader looks from the outside. Interior wise, again, the Rebel kind of has a little bit of more of like a luxury based interior, whereas this is kind of more of just like your off-road focused interior. I will say this interior would be easier to clean than the Rebel interior. So again, pros and cons to both of them. Both have good infotainment systems. This one has a smaller screen. The Rebel has the bigger screen, but they're both just as easy to use. This one a little bit better on the camera system because it has all the camera views. That's an option on the Rebel, though, I will say that. Other than that, you know, they're very different trucks, but they're also very similar. They're both really good on the off-road. Shocks are very, very similar. They're from the same manufacturer, which is kind of funny. So that's all the same. Tires are a little bit different, but it really just depends on what you're looking for from a driving experience. If you want more of a luxury experience, Ram. If you want more of an analog experience where you're gonna get more feedback from the truck, you're gonna know what the truck's doing, you're kind of looking for more, I guess, of like a driver's truck in a way, then that's where the Pro-4X gives you that older school feel to it, which I like both of the feels for different reasons. And well, that's our driving comparison. Now that is gonna sum things up for our video comparing this 2021 Nissan Titan Pro-4X and this 2021 Ram Rebel. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for giving me some time with the Rebel. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.